Okay, hi, this is Shareability Uganda e-learning. Um, my name is Nelson Bisomba, and in today's video I'm going to take you through how to find an equivalent fraction. We shall see what it means by an equivalent fraction and how do you get equivalent fraction when you are given a fraction. This is my telephone number, our email, that is elearning@shareability.net. Okay, so let's get started and see what an equivalent fraction are. We are defining an equivalent fraction as fraction that represents the same value even though they look different. Okay, so here we shall be able to hover and see what are these fractions they are talking of. They are saying they represent the same value even though when they look different. They are different but they look the same, okay. So let's have a look at some more examples. They are saying for us to get those numbers or those fractions that look the same, we shall be able to multiply the numerator and the denominator by the same number. Okay, have a look at this. Let me demonstrate here. As you're seeing, we shall be given a fraction. Let me say find an equivalent fraction of 3 by 4. You are saying multiply the numerator 3 and the denominator 4 by the same number. Let's say 2. Okay, here they are able to get our 6 out of what? 6 out of 8 as an equivalent fraction of 4. Okay, so that means there is a trick that they were using for them to get an answer as this. So let's get started and see how they came up with a 6 out of this as an equivalent fraction of 3 out of 4. So this is our what? This is our fraction. Our fraction is 3 out of what? 3 out of 4. We are going to see how do we get an equivalent fraction of this. How did they come up with 6 out of this? Okay, here you can see they are saying that we can multiply the numerator 3 and the denominator 4 by the same number. Here they gave us an example. That let's take an example of 2. If we use a 2, okay, we are going to multiply a 2, okay, by the numerator and by the denominator. Okay, so we can say what is 3 times 2? We get 6. You divide it by what is 4 times this? 4 times 2, you get 8. Okay, so we can see out that we have been able to come up with the correct answer that they were talking about. So that means for us to get an equivalent fraction, we should be able to look out for any number. Let me say if it is a 2 or a 3, then we shall be able to get the what? The equivalent fraction. Let's try out some other equivalent fraction out of this number which has been given. Let's try out a 3. We are choosing out a 3 and see how whether we can get our what? Our equivalent fraction, which means the same as this. Okay, let's multiply here by 3. So here our answer shall be equal to a 9. Okay, our answer shall be equal to 9 over what is 4 times 3. This is 12. Okay, this is what? That is 12. So that means here we can get as many equivalent numbers, as many equivalent fractions from only what? Only one number. So that means our 6 out of 8, okay, is the same as 3 out of 4. Our 9 out of 12 is the same as 3 out of 4. Can we prove that? Yes. When we say 3 divided by what? 3 divided by 8, we shall look out for the common factors. We look out for the common factors. if you take a common factor of 2, we shall say 6 divided by, we take a common factor of what? Of a 2, which is 2 divided by this, 2 divided, means 6 divided by 2, shall be able to get a what? A 3. When you take a common factor 2 divided by 8 divided by 2, we shall be able to get our 4, okay? So that means this number is the same as this one. We are also going to take another number here. We are trying to prove whether 9 out of 12 is the same as 3 out of 4. Okay. Let's also take our common factor 3. When we say 9 divided by 3, we shall be able to get 3. When you say 12 divided by 4, I mean divided by 3, we shall be able to get our 4. This simply means that our equivalent fraction here is the same as this one, okay? So that's how we can prove and say that this number is a what? Is an equivalent fraction. Okay, let's go ahead and see some more examples. I've been given some more examples here. We have a 2 out of 3. They are showing us how we can get some more equivalent fractions. So here they are taking a 2. They took a 2 to what? To multiply both the numerator and the denominator. So we have our 2 out of 2 times this. They were able to get 4 out of 6. Okay. Then also they were able to use a 4. They said what is a 4 times 2? They got a 8. 3 times 4, they got a 12. So this number, this 8 out of 12 is the same as 2 out of 3. 4 out of 6 is the same as 2 out of 3. Here they took a 3 and they was able to say a 3 times 2 times 3, 3 times 3. Okay, this number is the same as this one. Okay, so possibly we can be able to say that the equivalent numbers or the equivalent fractions which are the same as this are 4, 6 out of 9, 8 out of 12, 10 out of 15. They are the same. Okay, so that's simply how we get an equivalent fraction. Let's also look at some more examples that have been given. They are saying list the first equivalent fraction for. So here they are giving you a command that you are going to first list out the first equivalent fraction. That means you are only going to use one number. We have 1 out of 3. Let's see how we get it. We have 1 out of 3, 1 out of 3. We are going to get our equivalent fraction that comes out of this, which is the same as this. Okay, let's take out a what? Let's take out our 2 to be what? To be the number that we are using. Okay, so when we say our 1 out of 3, our 1 out of 3 times 2, here we are given that we multiply both by the numerator and the denominator. So here we shall be able to come up with our 2 out of 6. Okay, this is going to be our 2 out of what? Our 2 out of 6, because 1 times 2 we get a 2, 3 times the 2 we get 3 times 2 we get 6. Okay, so this is our what? Our first equivalent number. Let's also work out on how to get the equivalent number of 2 out of 5. We have a 2 out of 5. 2 out of 5. 2 out of what? 2 out of 5. We shall multiply it by our first the number which we are going to use. We shall use a 2. So here we shall be able to get our equivalent number. 2 times 2 you get a 4. Then our denominator 5 times 2 shall be able to get 10. Okay, so 1 out of 4 is the equivalent of this. Okay, we have learned on how we can prove this. Okay, let's also see how we can get the next number is 1 out of 2. 1 out of 2, we have a 1, we have a 1 out of 2. So here we shall also use we shall take our numbers 2 and we multiply this by 2. So here we shall be able to get our 2 out of 4. Okay, so our equivalent fraction of 1 out of 2 is 2 out of 4 is the same as 1 out of 2. Okay, let's also get another number. We have 1 out of what? 1 out of 4. Okay, 1 out of 4. 1 out of 4. We have 1 out of 4. We shall also use our 2. Let's use our 2. We multiply by the numerator and the denominator. Okay, so here we shall be able to come up with 1 times 2, we get a 2. 4 times 2, we get 8. Okay, so this is our equivalent number as this one. Another one is 1 out of what? 1 out of 7. Okay, 1 out of what? It is 4 out of 7. Okay, 4 out of what? 4 out of 7. This one, 4 out of 7, the one we are going to get. Okay, let's get our 4 out of what? Out of 7. When we take our 2, oh, okay, let's use a 3 here. You can use any number, but remember they said you should take our first what? Our first number. Okay, let's use 3. It can also work. We multiply. What is 3 times 3 times 4? 3 times 4, we get 12. Divide by what is 3 times 7? We get 21. Okay. We can also use a 4 out of what? Out of 7, and we take our 2 multiplied by 2. Here you also multiply by what? By 2. I shall be able to come up with what is this? 4 times 2, we get 8. 7 times 2, we get 14. Okay, so this means that our 8 out of 14 is the same as 12 out of 21, the same as 4 out of 7. So simply this is how we can find out our equivalent fraction. Whenever you ask and say, please find the equivalent fraction of this number, be able to use this concept. You just choose any number. When they tell you find the first or the second equivalent fractions from this number, be able to use the concept and pass the number, okay, or get the number correct. That's how we can find an equivalent fraction. For this, I do say thank you very much for watching our channel. Please don't fail to check out on our recent lessons that you might have missed, and also subscribe in order to get more upcoming lessons. Thank you very much. God bless you. Have a good moment.